the first meeting of our new energy education project, sponsored by the Ethan Allen Institute and managed by Meredith Angwin. As most of you Vermonters know, Vermont is heading for a very crucial legislative decision early in 2011, the decision whether to allow our Public Service Board to entertain an application from Vermont Yankee Energy to extend its license, extend its operation period with a certificate of public good for 10, 20, 30 years in the future. This has been a matter of intense controversy in Vermont. As most of you know, there's a very active collection of people who oppose anything that has the N word in it, in their case, nuclear. And there are many others who are gradually coming to understand that Vermont's economy is heavily dependent on reliable, safe, baseload electricity, and it is not at all obvious where that electricity will come from once the legislature decides to essentially vote Vermont Yankee off the island. So the Ethan Allen Institute is pleased to be able to be the sponsor of the project. For those of you who aren't members, and I recognize half a dozen of you who are, the Ethan Allen Institute, founded in 1993, has been Vermont's independent free market think tank in those intervening 17 years. We've been very interested in the fiscal crisis, taxes, economic development, education, environment, healthcare, agriculture, and energy over these years. I encourage you to visit our website, which is just ethanallen.org, and see some of the things we've done there. The commentaries that I've written are all broken down by categories. One of them is called Energy and Climate, and you can get a pretty good dose there. So I will turn this back to Meredith to begin the presentation, and once again, thank you all for coming.
Okay, I just thought before I get into the presentation, I just want to talk a little bit about myself and the energy project. I was a physical chemist major and got a master's in it. It was in mineral chemistry, actually, and so I began my working life in geothermal energy, and I was very happy to be in the renewable resources group at the Electric Power Research Institute. After a while, I became less happy because renewable resources have to be sited exactly where they exist. I mean, if there's a hot springs in a beautiful mountain meadow, you got to build a power plant there, even if people don't like a power plant there. So you have very few. Anyway, we were supposed to be the poster child in EPRI, Electric Power Research Institute, for building these things to show utility commitment to renewables, and it was very, very, very hard to get them built. So I was trying to figure out what to do next, because I'd already worked on NOx control in a different job before I got my dream job of doing geothermal, and I just really didn't like combustion. Luckily, I was working alongside some people from the steam generator group at the nuclear part of EPRI on some similar corrosion problems to some that we had in some parts of the power plant in geothermal, and I switched over to nuclear and really made the choice that was the way to go forward. Now, living in Vermont, I've discovered that there are 7 or 8 very well organized groups that will tell you everything bad about nuclear, and they are very well organized. Now, I want to say a more balanced view, not just everything good. You know, that there is no kind of energy that is the perfect kind of energy with no side effects, you know, just wonderful, let's just do it, that's all it takes. But nevertheless, a little more balance is worthwhile. Now, what I thought I'd do here, okay, hi, I just want to say that there are 2 talks, and I want to tell you why we're talking about these 2 subjects. The first talk is about the grid and reliability. If you don't know how power is sent around Vermont, it's really hard to understand what the point is about Vermont Yankee. You really have to know something about the grid and so forth, because people will say all sorts of things. They'll say, it's 2% of the grid, it means nothing. Or they'll say, we'll get the smart grid in, or whatever. There's all kinds of things, and it's very hard to evaluate these things. And these things aren't necessarily wrong, they're just very difficult to evaluate. So the first talk is going to be about ISO New England and reliability. The second talk, then we'll have the cookies. Yes, cookies, the next step. And then the second talk will be Bob Hargrave's giving a talk on the history of Vermont Yankee. Bob Hargrins is very, very knowledgeable. He gives the course, Rethinking Nuclear Power at Iliad.